Hello, everybody. And with February, we are all here to enjoy some fabulous stories. Who doesn't love stories, right? So, here are some new stories, something that is self created and will take you to a new world. To begin with, I would like to invite Yana. Yana, would you please tell us your story?
Okay. My name is weird. Anyway, uh, I'm going to start with the story. The football problem. I don't know, I just named it football problem. Have you ever competed with the best footballer in your class? Well, I have, but almost. You'll find out in the story what I mean by almost. I was going to my seat in the bus when the annoying Mr. Justin tripped me over his leg. It's a good thing my bestie was there to help me out. My ankle was a little twisted, so I didn't do morning conditioning. A warm exercise in the morning, if you don't know. A warm up exercise in the morning. It was hard to walk, but I managed it. Justin, on the other hand, was sent to detention for tripping me, and as a result, his plans to annoy me and only me were postponed. Most of the time, my bestie helped me to walk around the school that day. I asked her if she had any problem because I was feeling better. She says like she's fine with it. I had to go to the sick bay for a while after we got down from the bus. There were a lot of sick kids today. Strange. So I had to wait. Missed one lesson, but I had to wait. Once I was feeling better, I went back to the classroom. On the way, I met Justin. Instead of an angry and grumpy face, he seemed to be excited to see me when he hates me and only me. I don't know why I'm saying me the whole time. Me. I asked him, "Why are you not angry?" His answer shocked me. Really shocked me. He told me, "For complaining to the principal, you have a football match with me on Monday." That's not his accent. I just mimicked him like someone. Okay. Just to give Justin an expression that I was happy about it so he could change the topic, I mimicked myself as a whole different emotion. Wow, such an easy challenge. Hard. You should start giving me more easy stuff. I mean, more hard stuff. To this, he replied, "Well, if it's easier, why don't you do it then?" After school, I went back home, frustrated, super frustrated, ultimate frustrated, just frustrated. Oh, why did I say that? He's a professional guy in football, but I'm a noob. I have no idea of the rules. I have only 2 days to practice. I can't skip school. I can't skip school. And I can't play football. You know what? I'm going to think about it once I'm done with my food. I was done with my food and I went to study. And once I was done studying, I went outside to the living room where my dad and baby brother were playing football. And I remembered. Tomorrow I have a match with Justin. OM Jesus, what am I gonna do? I went to sleep and woke up the next morning. It was hard sleep. I really woke up the whole half. I woke up the whole half night. So it wasn't a very cool morning. It's a good thing Justin wasn't there. I asked my bestie if she I thought my bestie would know, and she did. Justin is grounded, and Mr. Justin is Mr. Grounded and Mr. Grumpy. I felt a little sorry for him. A little sorry for him. I said a little sorry for him. I had a pretty bad day. Phew. Justin's brother, Mr. Someone I don't want to say his name, is 10 times worse than Justin himself. The next day, I was going to school and I saw Justin was a little sad and he was still grumpy about his grounding thingy. So I asked him because I was a little pitiful for him, and I said a little pity, not full, because I hate him and he hates me. So I asked him, why are you sad? He told me, he told me. And he replied, I've had a change of heart. I have a change of heart. And I don't want to play football with you as a match and revenge for complaining. So when I listened, I got so happy. I got so happy. I was saved from that ridiculous football, which I hate to play. I was waiting a lot to go back home without doing anything, without even changing my clothes or without even taking off my shoes. I went to a room, rocked myself up, went on the bed, and screamed in a pillow. With excitement. And thank you.
All right. That actually had an interesting twist right there. So let's hope not all of us face a lot of football problem, or as I might say, a friendship problem. Next, let's hear it from Illyeen.
Okay. So I don't have a name for my story. I was hoping you guys would suggest it for me as soon as I finish. So here it is. As Marilyn walked through the busy streets of New York, she found herself almost tripping over a huge white egg. It was flecked with olive green and gold, some gold specks, such that it looked like shooting stars on the egg. Nobody seemed to notice it as it slowly cracked open and head peeked out from beneath. It was a dragon egg. She realized it was a dragon egg. But dragons don't exist. She must have been hallucinating. What she really needed was a good night's rest after a long day of school. Marilyn here is really shy and she doesn't have many friends. Her past friends have all used her for one thing or another, soon betraying her. She has lost the courage to meet a new friend and can't risk it anymore. She woke up the next day only to see the same heavy egg right next to her bedstand. The dragon was struggling to get out, but it couldn't. Marilyn took the heap of olive green scales, aka the dragon, and decided to take it under her wing. Get it? I'm gonna name you Rebel, she said. Rebel was kept secret from most of the society around, and they grew close together. Rebel was the sweetest little dragon and a perfect pet. Every night, Rebel would snuggle up in Marilyn's arms and would gently drift off into deep sleep. No one seemed to notice Rebel, and it was as if no one could see him. It has been 5 years since Rebel hatched. Rebel was as big as a grown-up human now, and her golden streaked wings couldn't stop taking flight. Marilyn is in high school now, and her Oh, sorry. Marilyn is in high school now, and Rebel is well a teenager too. So Marilyn was about to go to school when she noticed something glowing in the corner of her room. They both approached cautiously. Guess what? It's a portal. Rebel threw Marilyn on her back and flew through the portal with no worry in the world. They seemed to have reached a small, desolate island in the middle of the clouds. There were gushers and other forms of smoke surrounding the entire island. Barren bits of waste and bones covered the island. A large creature landed upon the bare space of the island, followed by another similar creature. They were all dragons! Rebel's emerald green eyes shone, and she gave out a roar of happiness. Blue flames shot out of her nostrils. This may be the only chance for her to finally meet her family, her long-lost parents, and maybe even a sibling. What may be in store for her here? Marilyn insisted on going back because we also didn't know what dangers were in store too. But boy, was this dragon persuasive. Soon, Marilyn had the wind in her flaming red hair as they flew through the landscape to converse with the other dragons. A bright green stereotypical dragon, yes, with orange flames, stepped forward. His slightly plump body dragged as it moved. Who are you? How dare you step into my territory? Those were the royal gods I was talking to. I could get you expelled from here this instant, so you better back off. Had this dragon never met a human? When Rebel stepped up, the mean dragon was different. Why, of course you can come in. You have a dragon with you, he said. As they walked through the iron rusted gate, which they had never noticed before, they entered what seemed to be the training area. It was filled with giant hoops of fire and special stations. The whole place was set in a mowed lawn that seemed to never end. So it was basically this entire land that you can walk in all directions and you'll never stop walking. That's how much it extends. Would have guessed. Out on the lawn, we can see several different dragons with some streaks on their wings, and some are breathing purple fire, and some are just fooling around. In the center, there was a more elderly looking dragon with a whistle on his neck and shouting out now and then. He was olive green with golden flames imprinted on his wings. Sounds familiar. Of course, Rebel! They almost ran towards the dragon before they realized they could fly. Marilyn was still in her school uniform and hadn't realized that she might have been late for school. A whole hour late. They approached the dragon. They noticed it had a broad chest flecked with gold, just like Rebel. Down to the ground, Rebel! Down! Shouted the dragon. Hello, mate. What are you doing here out in the open? If you want to enroll, you're a bit too young, sweetie. And never go down! The man seemed a bit busy at the moment. Hello, sir. We were wondering where we are. You see, we got dragged into this portal and we got accepted inside. And Marilyn started. Neville, go down this moment! Oh, sorry, kid. I don't know who you are, but I'm Joseph. And wait, who's this little guy? This is Rebel, said Marilyn. Serena, come here, said Joseph. A thin crimson-colored dragon with golden horns and lots of jewelry stepped forward. This is my wife. What do you want? Oh my. She almost fainted halfway. Is it really you? Just then, Marilyn was hit with a wave of realization. These were Rebel's parents. The thought made her shed a tear, but she didn't know why. But I do. Sure, she's happy for Rebel, but it is hard for her to leave someone with whom they've grown close to over the years. Malin didn't know it, but Rebel was her only true friend. Meanwhile, Rebel seemed like the happiest dragon in the world, if not the universe. She had finally found her long lost parents. How she even ended up on the streets? Nobody knows. But that did not matter right now. What mattered is that she found her parents. Speaking of, Serena and Joseph were crying tears of joy. Their only child had come back after all these years of waiting. I need to go. Marilyn tried to hold her tears back. She did not want to let go of her only friend. It was not only Marilyn who was facing this nasty feeling. It was Rebel too. No one can handle such a moment. The parents met to an agreement that perhaps Marilyn could move in with them. Of course not. I have school back home and oh no, I'm super late. Rebel, come, we need to go. Oh, it finally hit her. Goodbye then, Rebel. She simply went back the way she came and then life went back to normal. Except it was a lot more miserable for Marilyn. By the way, she wasn't late for school. Time on Earth froze when she visited the Dragonland. Marilyn is in college now, but nothing changed. She still couldn't get over the fact that Rebel was gone. Probably forever. But that was gonna change. Tonight, something extraordinary is gonna happen. As she went to bed, Marilyn noticed a glow from the corner of her bedroom. She ventured past her stuff, hoping it was Rebel calling out for her, and she entered the glowing crack of her room. She reached back at the same place. The desolate island, the gushers, it all came back to her. Even the same green, mean dragon was there at the invisible gate. Who are you? How dare you step into my territory? Those were the royal gods I was talking to. I could get you expelled from here this instant, so you better back off, the mean dragon blurted out. Again. I'm here to see Rebel, said Marilyn. Access approved. That's new, Marilyn noticed. She expected to reach the training area again, just like last time, but instead she arrived at the dark purple cave covered with glowing gems and crystal. It looked so beautiful. She took a few steps forward when she noticed a dark green dragon with golden streaks. Rebel! She ran to the snoozing Rebel and hugged her, tears raining from her pebble-shaped eyes. Rebel's eyelids slowly lifted and was surprised to see Marilyn clinging to her neck. Marilyn? Yes, Rebel, it's me. Please come back. Life has been so pathetic without you. Just please come back, she said, sobbing. I missed you too, Marilyn. The two embraced in this special reunion. Rebel's parents had spectated the entire scene. You know, Rebel can't visit after the raid ends. Marilyn instantly recognized the sharp voice of Serena, Rebel's mother. Oh, thank you so much. Wait, what raid? Said Marilyn. Joseph, Rebel's dad, lost the glow in his eyes when Marilyn asked this question. Our opposite breed is attacking us. They reported that they will raid tomorrow morning. What opposite breed? Dragons consist of two, fire scale dragons and Komodo drop dragons. The breed which you have been seeing all this while is the fire scale dragons. Some Komodo drops live between us, but they are friends who will help us in war. But some aren't very helpful. Serena said all of this in one go. Impressive. Why the war in the first place? Marilyn appeared to be catching on very quickly. Some agreement issues in the past, but that doesn't matter. What we need now is some backup. which is why we called you. We need your help, Joseph ended. Of course that will help, as long as it means Rebel can come back, even if it is for a couple days. Marilyn, this is our hideout if we can't defeat them, Rebel said. Okay, let's make a plan at least. Marilyn took a crystal from the walls and began scratching on the cave walls. Joseph, may I call you that, can stay there and guard, and Serena can bring the call and heal the people. Blah, 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 blah. They ended up with a decent plan, thanks to Marilyn. It was the crack of dawn when they finished. A large horn sounded. Bum, bum, bum. What's that? Asked Rebel. That is the call of war. Onward! Joseph threw Marilyn on his back, and they flew out of the cave. Onward it is! Marilyn shouted. They got to their designated positions and were ready for anything. The 3 dragons took flight and surrounded the battlefield with flames when the other breed arrived. Komodo drop dragons were not your typical dragon. They consisted of pink noses and whiskers. Their tails were like foxes' tails, except they were covered in scales instead of fur. They can't breathe fire, but they can make fireballs with their hands and shoot. And their wings had fur on them and feathers. Lastly, they looked really scary and intimidating and menacing and no. All the fire-scaled dragons stepped forward and fought the war of their lives, with Marilyn leading it all. The Komodo drops caused a lot of damage because what remained of the cave was only a few crystals. The battlefield had a lot of bodies on the ground, but none died, but were seriously hurt. The fire scales, of course, won. The fire scales, of course, won with only 1 dragon left in the other team. The dragon, of course, surrendered, otherwise it would die, leading our dragons to victory. Hurrah! Serena healed the entire team, including Marilyn, because Serena was an expert healer in those days. After that, everything went back to normal, and Rebel came to stay at Marilyn's for a week, and they had the time of their lives. Rebel decided to visit often, and Marilyn always loved her, and they loved each other for the rest of their lives. You really changed, Marilyn. The world has too, said Rebel wisely. Well, that's another story, Marilyn replied. The end.
Thank you. That was an interesting place, going into the dragon world and learning a new lesson indeed. So next, let's hear it from Kanak. Come on, Kanak, let's hear your story out. Can you unmute yourself? Okay.
Rebecca was a 13-year-old girl who became famous throughout her city. She had beautiful shimmery eyes and dark hair, and she lived in a small city called Hamilton, Bermuda. Hamilton was a beautiful city that had lots of buildings and water surrounding the whole town. One of those buildings was Rebecca's school, Hamilton Middle School. She was the best at math in her school, and her father, Chad, was a high school math teacher whose students always got excellent grades. Rebecca was famous and admired because she participated in math competitions in her city, which she always won. Nobody had ever seen such a talented girl. In addition, Rebecca's fame became so widely spread that people all around the world came to watch her participate in competitions. Even animals such as dogs, birds, and squirrels would stop by sometimes to watch Rebecca's hands moving as rapidly as the cheetah while answering the questions on her paper. Surely Chad himself must have taught her, people whispered to each other. Who else could know the secret to such an amazing skill? However, Rebecca was used to being pondered at, and she was incredibly proud of the skill that had brought so many to look up to her. Admiration was all she cared about, and it dissatisfied her significantly that people thought anyone, even her own father, could teach her anything. Therefore, when she heard them whisper, she would indignantly say, "I gained this skill by working hard on my own, starting from early morning till late night. I never had time to look at others like you people, nor if I had, would I give my father credit for being more skillful than I. Not only my father, but how could anyone be better than me? If my father himself were to come to any of my competitions to compete with me, he could do no better than I could." One day, when Rebecca said such words, her brother Jeremiah answered her. He said, "How dare you think you are better than your father? I'm your older brother and have experienced much more than you. So take my advice and be less egoistic. Don't think you are better than everyone at math." "Oh, brother," said Rebecca confidently, "you have never done anything good yourself, so don't tell me what to do. If father is displeased by my words, then he will come to my competition and compete with me. But of course, he will not come. It is easy for people to avoid matching their skill, especially with that of their children." After listening to those words, Jeremiah immediately went to his father. He announced, "Father, I just talked to Rebecca, and she was being very rude." "What did she say?" Chad inquired. "She said that she is better than you, and if you went to compete with her at any of her competitions, you could do no better than her," said Jeremiah. "What? She said that?" "No, she would never say such a thing," said Chad, doubting Jeremiah. "Well, she did. She has gotten too prideful and now thinks she is better than everyone, even you. You have to stop her before she gets too prideful and does something bad," Jeremiah advised. "What should I do?" Chad wondered. "You need to go to the competition and compete with her," exclaimed Jeremiah. "I can't do that. I can't compete with my own daughter," said Chad. "Why not? Don't you want her to learn?" asked Jeremiah convincingly. "Well, yes, but," Chad said. "Then," Jeremiah interrupted. "Fine, I'll do it. Let's go," said Chad. After a while, Jeremiah and Chad reached the destination where the competition was being held. They saw a little open gate entrance and walked towards it. As they entered it, they saw a huge stadium-like seating place where the audience was seated. Then they saw a circle-shaped concrete floor, and in between was a little pool. Seated in front of the little pool was a very familiar girl. It was Rebecca. She had won so many times that no one wanted to compete with her. So as the judge was asking if anybody wanted to compete with her for the last time, Chad declared, "I will compete with her." Rebecca turned around to see who had the courage to compete with her. But when she saw her father, she got shocked and frightened, because even though she had challenged him to come, she had never thought he would actually show up. She had never thought that a father would go against his daughter, but she didn't say anything because of all the people around. So she watched him sit down on the chair beside her, and they started working. Without a word, everyone was silent. Chad was going just a bit faster than Rebecca until he had to cough. Meanwhile, Rebecca kept going, no matter how frightened she was. But when she saw her father cough, an evil thought came into her mind, and she sneakily swapped the papers and finished the questions that were left on his paper. Then she announced, I finished! But right at that moment, Chad saw that he had finished one more question than it showed on the paper in front of him, and the handwriting was different. At that moment, he realized what she had done. So he stood up, grabbed the paper from her hand, tore it before her eyes, and slapped her. Rebecca stood there for a moment, filled with anger, pride, and fear, while everyone else was wondering why Chad had slapped her. Then an old woman standing behind Rebecca and Chad supportingly said, It's good that you did that, Chad. Hopefully she has learned her lesson now. But what happened? Asked the judge, confused. The same woman revealed. Rebecca sneakily swapped her and Chad's papers. The crowd gasped and started murmuring, shocked. How could you do such a thing, Rebecca? I thought you were better than this. You will no longer be able to participate in math competitions ever again, said the judge consequently. Chad said, this is the consequence of your actions. You will suffer it, and when people think of you, they will remember that you are dumb to think you are better than the person who is the reason you are in this world, and that even the best people shouldn't strive with their parents. At that, Rebecca left, losing her admiration and family, and never dared to participate in or attend any math competition again. Today, lots of people still tell Rebecca's story and remember the competition with her father. They think it isn't right for even the best of people to think they are better than everyone, especially their parents.
It was beautiful. I personally love the story. Anak, you got a lot of applauses. I hope you're happy about it. Indeed, it was one story that shows a personal conflict, when a character is facing a problem with themselves. And we return again with the next speaker. And to continue with, I'd like to invite Rudra. Rudra, would you please tell us your story?
I am just a lonely freak that nobody wants to be with. No family, no relatives, no bloodline. No one to continue my legacy. I can only wait to die now. Hmm. Hmm. Hello. Who are you and what are you doing here? I am the great King Kong, and I'm trying to find people who have beaten more enemies than I have. Let's hear it then. First of all, don't you remember me? I am the one in the city who was fighting with you to beat Mecha Godzilla. That was you? You didn't do such a bad job there. Thanks. Your atomic breath did really help, and so did your tail. You got some strength too, having the guts to fight Mecha Godzilla. You think I have a chance at beating you? Look, I'm going to be honest here. They call me the king of monsters for a reason. You got a small chance, but that's it. I might be biased, but I reckon I could beat you if you were in the right environment. I would say in the lightning. Anyways, that fight was amazing. We would make an unstoppable duo, you know. What do you say? No offense, but I work solo. We could be friends. In case you're getting beaten up, I could save your butt. Funny. I could say the same. I would beat you up, you know. No, I would beat you up. And they went on arguing about who is stronger and who could beat who. This was Godzilla's story on how he went from being lonely to having a good friend.
I like the story. It's very, very interesting. Rudra, I do like the way that you use Godzilla's voice. All right, next, let's hear it from Anika. Come on, Anika.
Lily was a nice and humble kid, but she had a secret identity, which no one actually knew about. But she wasn't afraid to tell her family. You know why? Because her whole family has all the superpowers in the world. It's a weird generation. Superpowers? People turn into dragons? Who knows? Well, now we will be looking at how Lily's life has begun. Well, it started off as a little baby. You know, I was kind of crazy. But then I've noticed I had superpowers. Okay. Doopy doopy doo. Ooh, I want pizza today. Boop. No, I can barely eat this. I don't have teeth. Teeth. Yay, I can finally eat now. Four years later. Oh, okay. I became a little older. Now I have to start kindergarten, but I don't want to. Mom! I don't want to go to kindergarten. But dear, you have to. No, I'm not going. I can mind wipe you, just so you know. You have to go. Hee hee. Yay, now I can control everyone's mind. I don't have to go to kindergarten. Yay. Okay, what do I do now since I don't have to go to school? Ah, go pay the break. Uh-oh, I think this might be a bit too big for me. Well, please. Oh well, at least I have my powers. Shrink! Yay! 7 years later. Okay, now that I'm 7, what do I do? Well, my mom has been telling me to save money. I'd rather not. 'Cause I can already magic up money. I'm just bored. Maybe I should go call my friend and see if she's anywhere else. Oh yeah, I turned her into a baby because she was so mean. What do I do now? Let's see. Maybe we'll get a dog? I get some company? Okay, let's go to the pet store. Oh no. Oh no, what did I do? Ah! Oh, what do? Oh, okay. Okay, now I'm a ghost. Cool. Never knew how life would be a ghost. Okay, so am I in heaven or hell? Probably none. I'm just inside a huge monster's body. Okay, now how do I get out? There's a weird method on TikTok that says if you're stuck in something, tickle the body. Okay, that's what I'll do. Tickle, 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 tickle. Wah! Okay, now that I'm... Oh. I never knew I was in ocean. Okay. I'm gonna try to swim out and get back home. That's the end for part 1. Stay tuned for part 2.
Alrighty, thank you, Anika. Next, let's hear it from Goodlee. Come on, Goodlee.
Okay, so this is kind of weird that a princess from like 978 AD comes to the world to 2030, finds everything weird. Like people are using mobile phones and dress modern like leather pants, leather jackets, or maybe sometimes a gothic style. Well, in 1978 80s, don't even dress like that. Girls dress so gracefully, and boys just dress like a soldier. And the princess name was Cinderella. I know I didn't have time to find any name, so I just found some random name. So the princess name is Cinderella, and she loved to try new things. She would in fact die to try new things. So one day, she wanted after she came from work, the work which she plays with her friends. She was so tired, she wanted to go to her bed, and she saw a box. When she opened the box, there was a green color button inside, and she didn't know that was a button. She thought that was a ring or something. And when she took that, she disappeared in her room. And when her parents came in search for her, she was not there. And the princess was in a dark room. And later, after 5 minutes, she was in a world which was colorful. The world with high buildings, skyscrapers, tall buildings, new people. And a random man just came, said that, just welcome to this world. I know this world is kind of boring, but just come and look at this world. And she was looking, she was thinking, now why am I so weird? Why am I wearing this dress? And why are others putting those type of clothes? Why are people eating chicken? Aren't we supposed to eat some salad or something? And later she went into a restaurant and she asked the waiter can I order this thing? He's which thing, ma'am? I need your order in the mobile, ma'am, please. And she replied that I don't know how to use a mobile. Is this normal in this world? Because I'm the new person in this world and I'm from the 1978-80. And the waiter replies, no problem, ma'am, I can order it for you. And after ordering the menu, she got interested in that. She was fascinated and she wanted to learn about that. She wanted to learn in internet.com and she didn't know how to do it. So one of her friends from 2020 just taught her. And she got fascinated about it too, and she started studying a lot and a lot and a lot. She got out of it. She won't even stay in one box. She's going out of it. When you try to hold something, it just slips out. She's that's studying. And she wanted to study it because she wanted to bring her members to the world 2030, and she wanted to show the benefits of the internet. That's it.
Alrighty, thank you, Goodlee. That was a different perspective indeed. All right, Rika, let's hear it from you.
What does snowman do at night? Once upon a time, there was a little boy who took a walk on the night. But then he saw a snowman moved. But he wondered, what do snowmen do at night? He wondered a snowman playing with his friends doing a lots of ice skating tricks. But then he saw a big hill full of with big and small snowmans riding down the hill. And then he wished he could be like a snowman. But it was too late. He had to go to bed. He watched the snowman one more time and then he went home. The snowmen were happily playing, and then Then they rest wherever their homes. The end.
That is very, very cute, Rohika. Very nice. Thank you. And now let's hear it from Heral. Come on, Heral.
Hello everybody, my name is Heral Alwani. So today I'm going to be talking, the story title's name is The Three Ballerinas. So, once upon a time, in a ballerina's time, there were two ballerinas that were named Illyeen and and Nuna. They were both friends, and one day, well, Illyeen was really good and always wins the competition. And why? But the Nola is an opposite of Ellie. Like she's mean first of all, and loses in competitions, and really rude. So one day, since Ely was winning all the battles, and she was just deciding that she should give one chance to Noah, and then something magic miracle. This time, Ely said, Noah, I would say that, do you want to win this competition? Because I've won a lot of competition, and you have not been. So maybe let me just teach you something, and hopefully you're going to do a little bit more best. Really? Then Ely and Noah were best friends. Since they were best friends, something. And then came a new ballerina that was just like Noah and was really mean, but was a little bit of Ely because she went a little bit more than Noah. Oh, Noah. And she was very rude. And then came her. Then Noah soon became friends with the new girl called Lilith. And the days passed, and oh no, and Ely was a little bit sad because she had nobody to talk. But she was okay with it. One day, Madame to Nola, as her friend nearly betrayed her and made her in the competition in front of the audience. And she was really shy and not very confident. So then came out a jump from the air, landing to the stage. Can you guess who it was? It was Noah. I mean Ely. So Ely came up and just say, "Hi, new girl. You have to tell it now with both of us. Hee 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 hee." So you want it? The audience is waiting. And then Neely said, I'm be right back. Maybe it's my hometown. Yeah, it's my hometown. I am going. Bye, 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 bye.
Then, and Lily, I mean Nala, and Illy giggled and laughed. And then Illy said, "Let's just go, back." Then Illy came and just said, and then Nala came and just said, "Hooray! It's a baby champions and wolves. There's somebody bad that has come now again. Hooray!" The end.
Thank you. I think a lot of people enjoyed your story as well. With that, we are going to say end for the stories today. You can comment on each other's stories.